it's at least 20 fatalities.
It's being called a monumental tragedy, and the scope of it keeps growing.
When the reports started coming in that so many people had died here, we hopped in an automobile, my producer Mike Allers and I, and just hightailed it towards Blacksburg. We must have been going about 85 miles an hour, but all the state troopers were coming here too. They weren't paying much attention to us.
How painful this must be. First of all, our deepest condolences to you. It's a heartbreaking story, one of the most difficult ones to cover when needlessly so many young people's lives are destroyed, but it's not easy. You want to be able to cover it, and I'm really fortunate that I could do it.
We had found the sloth, the sloth had been tagged and they were doing research on him.
And they climbed up the tree, and mid-interview you heard this snap.
There will be more.
Whoa! Whoa! Oh, and the branch just came crashing down, and it fell. It missed my head by like millimeters and hit the floor with a big crunch, and everyone was just like, ah.
Well, it's interesting because it's so far extremes here, actually performing brain surgery and talking to the Dalai Lama. You know, you think of religion as being so predicated on faith, whereas science is so predicated on facts.
His Holiness is very interested in scientific matters, and you know, I think by talking with our medical correspondent, it's something that, you know, he can really sort of delve into more deeply.
But you know, there was news, there was science, there was religion, there was spirituality. It was a fascinating discussion.
We are coming to you tonight from the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina. This is the CNN YouTube debate. This is the first debate of the presidential election season.
It's interesting when you're on a stage with all these people who want to be the president. Obviously, the pressure is very intense. There's a lot of candidates who want, you know, questions to go to them. So it's a question of, you know, sort of balancing it out, making sure all the candidates get enough questions, making sure they get, you know, a representative number of questions. This whole YouTube aspect to it adds a whole nother dimension because all the questions are coming from YouTube viewers. So that's, you know, in some ways my job is easier. The questions are already being asked. It's my job to make sure that the candidates actually answer the questions.
Right at the beginning of the debate, it's a photo op that all these print journalists have been waiting for. Right before the big moments, and these guys are getting the shots. It could be covers of newspapers tomorrow morning. Not only do we have the people here that are on site, but we also have our PR teams across the country, primarily the teams that will help us staff the debate from the bureaus.
One of the key aspects, really, I would have to put it up there on one of the key safety requirements for any space shuttle launch. Box O cigars, baby. Yeah, there you go.
Let's go straight now, live to CNN space correspondent Miles O'Brien at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Nice to see you, Miles. How are we looking weather-wise? Are we okay?
So far, so good on the weather, Heidi. 80% chance that the weather's going to be okay for launch tonight.
7, main engine start. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis to assemble the framework for the science laboratories of tomorrow.
Houston now controlling.
Houston, Atlanta, it's roll program.
Oh, I almost forgot. This is the scar that counts.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. Check out the 360 Daily podcast on iTunes.